Hello everyone, and welcome to Bo Pruitt's Island Golf Studio and Golf by Colors. Today we're going to teach you the inside swing, which is normally a technique taught to golfers past the beginner level. Golf by Colors is much simpler and much easier to understand, and most of all, it's much easier to make corrections. Power, accuracy, and turning good golfers into great golfers is what Golf by Colors is all about.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bo Pruitt's Island Golf Studio. We're here at the home practice net under the palm trees as we love it. But anyway, good to see everybody back. We're going to go through the tutorial today that talks to you about the inside swing, keeping the hands and arms inside and getting good contact with the ball and more power from having everything in tight and close to you. But before we get into the extensive part of this tutorial, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about where we're going to talk in the tutorial about where the magic happens. And when we say the magic, it refers to the club head opening and closing. A lot of tutorials that you'll get, and I would never knock anybody's instructional method, okay? So this is just my own opinion and how I'm gaining accuracy and power real fast. But they teach you to open the club head real quickly as you're coming off the ball. Let's put the ball out here, so you see what I'm talking about. They talk about, getting that club head open right away and coming on up into your backswing, and then coming through, getting the hips around, and then everything, closes back down on the ball and you make contact. Well, a lot of those instructional methods involves them teaching you to look up in the air and see, where your club head's at. And as we all know, that gets really frustrating because they also teach you, everything's got to be locked in over top of the ball, head down, everything locked in and centered, and you're trying to look up and it just gets real confusing. It can cause golfers to quit the game, and that's one thing that I don't influence, ever, is quitting the game. So what we're going to talk about real quick is I teach the way I'm going to show you how I got the power, how I got the accuracy quickly, is by keeping the club head facing the ball, coming all the way out. It's still facing the ball. If I bring it back down where it started, everything is still centered and on. Where they'll teach you, to open that club head up right away. And the reason why is when I get to the top of my backswing, I make sure that both of my thumbs are pointing towards the sky. I call it thumbs up, and as you look up, you'll see that club head's open. So thumbs up, thumbs to the sky, and you don't have to look at what you're doing because you came off the ball, dead center, and when you got up to the top, thumbs up to the sky. Okay? And that's proper. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all centered up. Okay? So when I say where the magic happens, keep that club head pointing all the way. Don't worry about any more past this point. Just feel yourself go thumbs up to the sky and back through for contact. Okay? It works. It's power, it's accuracy, and we're going to get into the step-by-step instructional on the inside golf shot by colors. You're going to enjoy it. It's easy. It's simple. It's a lot of fun. And it's how I got the power, the accuracy, quickly, straight away.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the setup for stage one of Golf by Colors inside swing. You'll notice the yellow line, and the yellow line is something that you should already be familiar with a little bit. You've been taught probably that the bill of your hat or your head should always be centered directly over the ball. So there you go. See how easy that was? You've already learned that the yellow line just simply means keeping your head directly over the ball. Okay, so now we move on to the red line. As you'll see here, the red line is referring to both arms hanging straight down. Now, you may see an orange line later on that refers to straight arms, but we're using a red line here in this diagram to show the slight V that the straight arm hanging down and the club make going towards the center of the ball. Also, the setup for this So you get your arms in the correct position, hanging straight down like this. If I were to stand up straight from this position, the end of the grip would rest nicely right against my legs there, right where they're near my thighs. Now they're about 3 inches away. And if I stood up straight, that club would rest right up against my leg and still be centered on the ball. And now to finish the setup stage is the blue line, which simply means just having the knees slightly bent but comfortable. And you'll see as we go through each stage that the knees pretty much stay this way the whole time, except at the very end of the swing. So there you have it. It's really simple. Just keep in mind, yellow line, straight line from the head to the ball. Red line is basically arms hanging straight down to join the club, and then you have one slightly bent blue line, which is your legs, and that is the initial part of your setup. Okay, here we go. We're going to move into stage 2. Now we're looking at the gold line, not to be mistaken with the yellow line, and when you see the two of them side by side, you'll be able to tell the difference. But I call it the gold line because this is the line that makes contact with the ball, as you can see. And the gold line shows that the club head comes straight back away from the ball, just as I was showing you in the intro to this video. The club face is closed, it's pointing down towards the ball, and it stays pointing at the ball until it disappears from your sight. And then that's when we get to the thumbs up method that we talked about earlier. We'll get back to that later. But anyway, so that's it. The gold line is going to show you mostly through this video that that club head is just staying pointed right at the ball. Okay? So I remember when I was taught by an old pro, his name was Gene Dixon. He smoked a great big old cigar, and he talked about keeping that club face closed until I could no longer see it, and then turning those thumbs to the sky. Alright, so this is where this is coming from, and this was an old timer, an old PGA pro, and he talked like he smoked about 8 or 10 of them cigars a day, but I can hear him now. Bo, keep that club face closed until it disappears. Alright, so now we're going to go on to the green line, and the green line is basically one of the biggest tips to the inside swing, is because it shows you to keep both of your biceps pinned against your body. And when you keep your biceps just pinned against your body lightly, you don't have to, glue them in there, but you want to have them next to you the whole time to keep everything tucked in nice and tight throughout the swing. Now when you get to the top of the backswing, you're going to lose a little bit of that, but when you come back through, you want to make sure that you make a conscious effort to pull those biceps back into against the body, bring those arms in tight, swing those hips around, get them out of the way. Okay, but for here right now, we just want you to remember that the gold line is referring to bringing the club face back closed, and then the green lines just always represent keeping your biceps pinned against the body. Okay, here we go again. As you can see, real easy. The orange line just representing both arms straight down, and hands and arms remain close to the body. And as you see, it says turned, hands and arms tight to the body. So you've already gotten warmed up on this right at the intro as in stage 1. But as you see, this is one of the big secrets to this swing, especially for big guys that have a tendency to want to reach out for the ball and use their arms for power and everything. With everything, the head lined up over the center of the ball, the arms and hands and arms close to the body, feet anchored to the ground real good, there's a huge power package there that you just don't even realize exists. And as you see through the rest of this video, it all comes together and how this power package works. But for right now, just remember the orange line. It's just referring to keeping your hands and arms tight to the body. Alright, here we are at stage 4. Again, real easy again. We're just reminding you that as you're going through the swing, you can see the club head on the gold line and the yellow line together there. And that gold line that makes contact with the ball, that club head is still pointing down towards the ball. And we term that closed face. And The other term is centered, as you see. We are staying centered on the yellow line, and you're going to see that show up from now on. Sometimes I may not even need to mention it to you. It's just there. You know that you're always centered. So that's it for stage 4. I know you're saying, wow, Bo, this just seems too simple. Yeah, and I'm going, yeah, right, it is. Because it really is simple to learn it by colors like this. And once you learn to keep your hands and arms in and locked in, all the magic's going to happen quickly. So hang tight, here we go, and it's going to get better. Okay, here we go again with the gold line. The most important one is still, you see the club head is still pointing right at that ball. You need to be able to bring that club head back down at any time as you're going through your backswing, and it just matches right up where you left. It's so easy. So go ahead and just make sure that that's always happening until it gets to our thumbs up stage. Okay, the blue line. Remember there was a blue line on the knees that showed the knee slightly bent. Well, now you got the blue line on the arm, because when you start to come back to this point, that the left arm is going to stay straight as much as possible through the entire swing. But as you get to this stage, you're going to get some bending in the right arm. And again, like the club head being open, you just kind of want to forget about that happening until we get to the thumbs up stage. Okay, so you're looking real good here. Just remember you got your gold line. You come back, you could go back down and make contact at any stage. That's where you can remember. You can see the club head is going to start to lose my eyesight here. If I were to look over to my right, that club head would be starting to disappear, but it's still ready to come back down at any time. And then we're going to go to the blue line, and quick review is the right arm will start to bend slightly when the club head gets to that stage. And you can see everybody's lined up right there together, and it's looking nice. They look like they're made together. And then the orange line is just representing, again, keeping that left arm straight. So there you go, easy peasy. We had 3 colors this time. I hope that wasn't too much for you. But again, easy peasy, and you're looking good at this stage, and you're getting ready to get to the magic real soon. Alright, boom. This is the magic we all been waiting on to happen. This is where it all happens, and really it's as simple as that little gray line there. See those thumbs starting to reach towards the sky? And the club head, we're going to forget about that. Remember when I said once those thumbs start heading in that direction, everything else is going to go with it, because your left arm there is straight out, and everything is following the thumbs. And as it says here, that you're gonna go higher with your backswing. You're gonna come on back a little bit, but when you're reaching there, you can see the thumbs are almost pointing directly towards the sky. And at some stage, you're gonna roll past the sky, but you're gonna make sure you'll feel it. When you go by and you're pointing straight up, and then you're gonna bring it all back around, nice and tight to the body again, and you're gonna hit that ball long. You're gonna hit it straight, and you're going to be really happy about it. So this is the magic right here. This is where it all comes together, just putting those thumbs to the sky. You saw at the beginning of the video, we talked about all this outside on the practice net. But anyway, this is how it happens right here, and it makes it simpler, because as we said, I wouldn't put anybody else's techniques or training techniques down, because there's pros out there that will tell you not to do this at all. And but the thing is it just makes it so much simpler, and it all happens. This is the way I was taught. I know it's probably an old school method, but I started losing power, and I started losing accuracy when I went back to the game after being a junior champion. I started playing again at the age of 53 years old, and now I'm on my way to becoming a pro quickly. And the reason is I was losing that distance was because I was reaching. I was trying to use my strength and reaching out on my drive and reaching out on my irons and trying to use those arms to power the ball out like I used to do when I was a kid. And I saw the techniques of bringing everything in tight to the body, and it all just worked out magically for me, and it's going to continue to work magically for you as well. So here we go. We're going to move on to stage 7, and we won't be far from having you hitting it hard, long, and straight. Okay, here we go again. We're coming back down into the downswing now. We've made the magic happen. The thumbs reach for the sky, and now we're getting ready to plow this ball out into the fairway. Okay, we're coming into the downswing, and as you can see, it's all easy peasy again. You look at the left arm, it's still straight as can be, and it's the orange line. You're centered with the yellow line, and your knees are still slightly bent with the light blue line. So nothing has changed. You know, the head never left the ball. The left arm never left being straight, almost straight the whole way. Now she's really straight. And then the knees are slightly bent. And getting ready to come in and stomp into some power with those feet we're going to use next coming up. So we're going to anchor those feet coming up and on the next section here to the ground and start to drive some power into that ball. Real quick, you can see this is a close-up of our last section. Look at the power package that I talked about getting ready to come down on that ball. I mean, everything is centered, and you can see that it's coming. If I were that ball, I would be scared. Okay, we're kind of still in the same freeze frame that we were in before, driving down towards the ball. I believe we're a little bit closer now, but we need to show quickly that the hips need to start twisting and getting out of the way to make room for the hands and arms to be tight to the body. You can see there as the hips are twisting, as I'm driving down, it looks as if I've locked those arms in again next to the body, and you can see those hands are starting to come in close and tight again. And this is the part, you know, if you're used to using your arms and swinging way out in front of you, it feels real awkward at first. But when you get to the extension at the end and everything straightens out, the power ratio is just incredible. So here we are again. It's real simple. You're still centered, you're green tight to the body, and your pink hips are starting to twist. Alright, and into stage 9, which is pretty interesting, because now you're going to find out why I've been wearing flip-flops through this demonstration. You'll notice in most of my videos I do have golf shoes on, but here we're going to show where the feet, I want you to see what the feet are doing. We're starting to anchor to the ground here. This is where that power comes from. You can see that the club's coming down. The club face is still open. You can see there's this proof of what we were talking about, what's going to happen up top. Because as you can see, it's open and it's coming around. But it's proof that it was open at one time when it was over your head and we never even had to look at it. And again, remember when it was going up and all this was lined up here on the purple line? You had the club lined up with my arm. They almost looked like they were one. And now we're bringing it back down and they look like they're one again. What seems right about that? Everything, correct? And then you got your teal color here, which represents both the wrist. What's eventually going to happen here is these wrists, we call them rolling wrists and thumbs, are going to come down as you're coming back to make contact with the ball. Everything has to roll over and point. We're following the thumbs again. And just imagine in your head, shut your eyes for a minute, and imagine looking down and everything is making contact. You're making contact with the ball in slow motion and freeze right there. Everything, your thumbs, everything, your arms are both straight. Your thumbs are both straight and everything's pointed at the ball. So what this teal line represents is what the wrist and thumbs are getting ready to, as they come in, they're going to make a big roll towards that ball. And that's going to bring that club face closed again for big contact. Okay, we're rolling into 10 and ready for the big win right here. You can see it's all getting ready to happen. It looks like we got a lot going on here, but don't panic because it's all basically still recaps. You look back, head still over the ball. And keep in mind, this is with your irons. The driver, it's going to be a little bit further out there, but you can train yourself to keep everything in tight like this. But anyway, The pink hips are still twisting out of the way to get out of the way of everything, and the teal line represents the wrist and thumbs. Probably the most important right now because everything's starting to roll in, and you can see that that club head is almost closed. And she's coming in for contact. We're rolling around. You can see where the freeze frame was. It has caught the wrist and thumbs almost before they've gotten themselves turned around, but everything's not straightened out at impact yet. You'll see that very shortly. So here we go. We're rolling in. Let's do a quick recap on this one. We got the hips still twisting out of the way. We'll look down at the feet even though the brown line's not here, but you can see that my right foot now is starting to lift in the back because that club head's gone by it, and we're driving down into the ball. Ball's in big trouble. It's coming. And then the left foot over there is starting to, the weight, you can see it's starting to come down on it, and it's anchoring itself down. And we're using, we don't want to swing your body up in the air and then bring it back down. You just want to keep that head over the ball, keep everything locked in, and use those feet as power. Lock yourself to the ground, and that's where the anchor for the big power package is in the feet. A lot of people don't realize that. So, and the green line again, we'll do a quick recap on that. Hands and arms tight to the body. Boom, the big explosion, as we call it. You can see we've hit the ball. We've made contact. That club head came around, closed down, everything locked down. The thumbs are pointed straight down now. The wrists are locked out. They completed their roll. They're going to continue to roll on through. The head still centered right where it was, and follow that yellow line and see where the ball is. Follow that yellow line up to about the center of the side of that target where it meets the net, and that's where we're supposed to make contact. We're not going to be hitting that. You can see the center of the target is away from where the ball was, and we should hit near where that yellow line is going upwards. So here we go. You can see the big explosion happens all at once as the arms straighten, both wrists roll, the thumbs come down, everything snaps forward down and onto that position at one time. It's good to practice that with no ball in front of you. Just swing down and feel what that snap feels like, and don't do a full backswing. Just practice coming back, about 24 inches, a couple of feet, and then coming down and snapping into that position over some nice thick grass. Okay, we're going to go to the green line again. See how easy it's all recaps. You've seen this stuff a million times now, it seems like. You've got where the green lines, where the biceps are still locked to the body. Now they do a drill with these that's similar to what you see with the green lines here, and they put a handkerchief or a washcloth under your arms to keep them pinned to your body, and then as you complete the swing they'll drop to the ground shortly after the stage. Recap on those knees. Look, they really haven't changed much at all, except as we look just below that, you can see there's the power and the foot starting to lift as we're driving on through. The weight shifted over. The hips are starting to swing around to the other side. I need more practice with getting my hips all the way around. That's one of the things I need to work on. But here we go. You can see it all coming together here. And we'll see where the ball goes next. We had a really good shot here. Plus, I tend to hit out on the end of the club now. I'm starting to use a little bit of a draw on my irons. It may have started to fade out to the right just a little bit, but when it gets out there, it's going to come back round. But that was a beautiful shot. It was dead on. And that's what happens after the explosion. Look at the arms now. Again, we're going to go back to the orange line here. It's getting easier. And everything has fully extended. The head is still down. That's a beautiful shot there because the ball's gone. I'm still looking down, and that's textbook. But you can see that arm has extended all the way now. The club is starting to point at the target as well, which is a really nice sign. You don't want to be coming back around over the shoulders yet because you want to make sure that you put everything you had into straight out towards that target. And as you can see the impact point here, that was a beautiful, beautiful shot. I believe that was a 6-iron that day. So there we go. We'll go back, quick recap. The head still centered over the ball. Again, that simple, you're tired of the yellow line, you know what that is now. The orange line, you know that is representing something being straightened out. It's usually the left or the right arm. And that time we got it extended nicely. Everything's extended out. It's almost a straight line becoming from my arms down the club as we reach towards the target a bit before we finish the follow through. So we're looking real good here. That was a beautiful shot, and we are almost done, folks. Alright, the 13th and final stage. See, when you thought 13 was your unlucky number, found out it turns you on to something good and lucky. Alright, as you can see, that ball polished the back of the net back there where the net meets the flag on the left. It was a beautiful shot. The words couldn't say it better. The follow through is as important as the swing itself. Quick recap on the lines. You see that the yellow line is still centered head over the ball. I'm really proud of myself on that shot because I'm still looking down. The ball's long gone, and but that's how you're supposed to. If you pull your head up too fast, it just causes all kinds of trouble. So that's a biggie if you learn nothing else today. And then you got the gold line. That's where the club should come to a rest. After you reach for that target, as long as you know, put everything you could into putting that club out there and getting that club head pointing at that target. As you come around and rest, it wants to be where the gold line is in this section. I know we used the gold line earlier, impact, but this again is representing the club head. So that's where it should come to. There you go, you got the pink hips. You see my hips have gotten around pretty good. I'm hard on myself about the hips, so but the pink line will always be your hips. The brown line, you see the foot is lifting now after impact, and we put all we had into that shot. Now I don't hit the ball hard when I say we put everything into it. You know, it's just I don't kill myself with every shot, but I like to put a nice effort into the downswing and and make it happen. At impact and keeping the hands and arms close to the body. This whole tutorial is about that. It gives you the power naturally, so you don't have to. I know at certain stages it looked like I was getting ready to kill the ball, but I didn't. But we got into it nicely, and I'm gonna show you some videos following this now that you can come back and mimic me anytime you want. I remember as a little kid, Jack Nicklaus was the big guy, and I watched him, and I went out in the backyard and I tried to do what he did. And you can come back and mimic me, mimic these videos, the slow motion videos especially, and they'll help you get it down. So quick recap and a quick thought as well. We'll go over the colors because I use the colors. Remember earlier when we said that the colors were good for this method was good for making corrections. Well, I call them color violations. When I make a mistake at one of these points, I'll say I didn't get my hips around. I made a pink line violation. My club head, opened up for some stupid reason, and that's a gold line violation. So every color that you learn today, just memorize. When you go through that step and you're not doing it, you didn't roll your wrist. It's a teal violation. You didn't get your feet planted. It's a brown violation. Your head wandered off from the ball. For God's sakes, don't let that happen. That's a yellow line violation. So use the videos, remember the colors, and you're golden. You're getting ready to have a beautiful game. All right, we're going to give you a little finish up time here, and we promised under 30 minutes, and it looks like that's going to happen. One of these 3 swings was the exact swing that you have already studied extensively. How about that sound? Was that enough power and convincing enough for you? Be sure you come back and study this slow-mo video as often as you like, and be sure you save it in your favorites. And thanks again for joining Bo Pruitt's Island Golf Studio, Golf by Colors. I really appreciate your stopping by, taking the time, and enjoying another great game of golf.